Okay, so it's the next day. I just got home from work, and as you saw from the videos previously, we got the engine out last night. We just dropped it down here for the night. Now we're gonna pick it back up. We need to take off the bell housing and the flywheel in order to put the engine up on the engine mount, the engine stand. So in order to do that, we need to take off the oil pan. So we're going to have to pick it up, drain all the oil out, take off the pan, so that we can actually get our tools in here to take off the bell housing. Now that I've got all the bolts out of the oil pan, it's now time to try and break the seal between the pan and the engine. You always want to put on a lot of sealant when you put on these pans because you don't want an oil leak, and you can never put on too much until it's time to take it off. Took a little bit of work with a screwdriver and a pry bar, but in the end we got there. The bolts holding on the bell housing had a very shallow head, which made it hard to keep the socket on. This is what I mean by how shallow the bolt was. So I had to get my wife on one side and get my father on the other and try to hold and support the motor while I push the socket onto the head and try to hold it there while turning. Well, engine's back on the floor. Not what I wanted. Couldn't get it up on the engine mount because we don't have long enough bolts to hold it. So we don't have long enough bolts or bolts that are the right thread. The bolts that we do have that are the right thread are too short, and the longer bolts that we have are the wrong thread, so there's that. So I'm gonna have to try and get some bolts tomorrow during my lunch break so I can hopefully get it up on the engine mount tomorrow after work. That's the plan. Don't hold me to it, we'll see what happens.